Good morning. Buenos dias. Thank you. This is the first time for me addressing this convention, so it's quite an honor. I'm really proud and excited. But first, I have to acknowledge the state chair of our party. And I say that because I can't think of a political leader in California who continuously, since the 60s, has been a more dedicated, devoted champion for the poor, for farm workers, for housekeepers, and for all working people, for oppressed people in our state than our chair, John Burton. John, thank you. Thank you very much. And of course, it's always a blast working with Eric Bauman, who is our LA County chair and who is a great partner for labor to elect the right candidates to office. And to all the leaders of our party, thank you all very much. Sisters and brothers, no issue exposes the fundamental differences between what the two political parties stand for more clearly than the debate over immigration reform. How the political parties define themselves through that debate will tell a generation of Latino voters if either party actually means what it says. Democrats say we are the party of equality. Republicans behave like the party of exclusivity. Democrats say they are for marriage equality. For Republicans, marriage is exclusive to a man and a woman. Democrats say all immigrants should be treated with equality and respect. Republicans say equality and respect should be exclusively limited to immigrants with special skills. When millions of Latinos voted last November, they sent the clear message about Los Dreamers, about Arizona, about self-deportation. It's clear today that a few Republicans did get the message. But it's equally clear that for most Republicans, calling other human beings illegal aliens or wetbacks or attacking Google for celebrating Cesar Chavez's birthday is still just fine. Immigrants come to America seeking freedom. For some, it is freedom from political repression. For others, it is freedom from economic deprivation. Republicans think all immigrants come here for free stuff, to borrow the words of Republican and Fox News commentators. Bigotry is only one of our opponents in the fight for immigration reform, and I trust Democrats to battle that opponent. But greed is our other opponent. Each of us has experienced disappointment when some Democrats fall prey to cash. Agribusiness cash stopped Democrats from giving farm workers an 8-hour workday. Insurance company cash cut union health plans out of Obamacare. Corporate cash has persuaded Democrats to open tax loopholes that result in closing libraries and parks and programs for the poorest and the most needy among us. Well, I sure hope that equality doesn't fall prey to expediency on immigration reform, especially now that the major employers are weighing in with cash to carve out and protect their interest in a constant flow of low-wage workers they can exploit, forever justified by use of the Orwellian term, guest workers. There's a growing generation of Latinos whose views about Democrats will be shaped and cemented this year. That generation will determine if Texas and Arizona and Georgia turn blue. That generation will also determine whether Riverside and Anaheim and Bakersfield turn blue. Some 172,000 Latinos registered to vote last year in California, but not as a result of the Democratic Party's voter registration drives. No, those 172,000 Latinos registered to vote online and by themselves. And a very large percentage of them registered in neither political party. By doing so, they've declared to the world and to us that they are not going to be taken for granted. Immigration reform is like marriage equality. It is inevitable. And just as our LGBT brothers and sisters have shown us by not settling for domestic partnerships, Latinos aren't going to settle for some half-baked, greed-driven, loophole-ridden, fake guest worker scheme disguised as immigration reform. They will demand the real thing. Whether we deliver it to them will in large measure determine the fate of the Democratic Party for the next generation of Latino voters. The fate of this party's future with Latino voters is in our hands, yours and mine. We must take responsibility as Democrats and as activists committed to basic justice by doing legislative visits, by making phone calls, and by marching on May Day all over the state of California supporting good immigration reform. This week, likely on Tuesday, a bill will be introduced in the United States Senate. It must include a halt to the daily deportations of 1,400 men, women, and children. It must stop the criminalization of workers and filling detention centers that profit private corporations. It must stop wage theft and respect the workers' right to unionize as the only way to stop abuses in the workplace. Sisters and brothers, it must also stop employers from using immigration status to stop workers from organizing into unions, like the Hilton Mission Valley Hotel just did in San Diego. It must provide a clear, certain, and speedy path to citizenship. It must break with unacceptable past guest worker programs and create a new, safe, and reliable visa program for workers when they are really needed in this country, and that does not tie them to a single employer and also gives them the right to become citizens of this great nation. Sisters and brothers, we must be ready to applaud what is right in that bill. We must be equally ready to fight back and change what is wrong with that bill. And just remember the words that President Obama himself borrowed from the farm worker movement: "Sí se puede, yes we can, thank you, God bless, and long live the strong Democratic Party in this country."